Content warning. The Adventures in HellwQrld podcast talks in depth about QAnon, which means we have to talk about all kinds of child abuse and violence against people. Listener discretion advised.
Hello, everybody. I am Mike Rains, a.k.a. Poker and Politics, and welcome to another episode of Adventures in HellwQrld. This week, I'm joined, as always, by Haley, a.k.a. Arizona Right Watch.
What up, everybody? What up, gamers? Hello.
Oh, yeah. Haley's on the live stream. She's a good streamer, unlike bad streamers that we'll talk about later. I'm also joined by the mysterious Elle.
Mamma mia, my beautiful babies.
We had a lot of Mario in the pregame, so that was kind of expected.
I'm currently playing a lot of Switch and Nintendo games because I was like, what's the most apolitical game I can just kind of play right now? So I'm in Animal Crossing mode again, and which is, I know it's a baby game, but and then
Apolitical in my ass. Who said I'm a Mario? You racists.
The 1,000-year
Woohoo yourselves.
Boom. Paper Mario, 1,000-Year Door. This is a classic GameCube game from my teenage years. I'm excited to play this again.
I've had it up to hear when people say I'm a Mario. That'd be great. Can you imagine being that guy?
Mike, what's your favorite Mario game? Go.
When I was a kid, just like the first Super Mario, I was just an addict to. I played that game mostly, like, the thing that was so brutal was it took me forever to find the first warp zone, the level 4. And then I think I was almost like midway through level 8 before I found the warp zone to level 8. So I put in so many more hours into that game than I needed to, because I was actually beating all the levels. Like, that was like pre-internet, pre-finding, like, having every exploit immediately reported to the universe. So just like when I found the warp zone in level 4 to go to level 8, I was like, what are you talking about? Oh my god, like all that time, no. Just like, oh my god.
I felt similarly in Mario 2. I organically discovered how their warp system worked, where you had to like pick up one of the potion turnips and then throw it on the ground and then go down the shadow version of the special vases. If you've played the game, you know it. This sounds like gibberish if you haven't, but if you played the game, this all makes sense. So I found that out like on my own when I was like 6 or 7, but then I spent like so much of the game just finding those potion bottles and just running around random places and throwing them and trying to go down. Like, so I created a different little game for myself, a game where I didn't give a fuck about Mario 2, except I wanted to find out where the secrets were.
You weren't trying to win Mario, you were trying to decode Mario.
Yeah, I was like getting good at playing the levels just because I needed to find where all the potions were and then find the weird places I could go with the potions to try to like figure out where the warp zones were. Just, you know, sort of organically getting good at the game. Like a bunch of these Elden Ring players who are complaining about the DLC should fucking get good, pussies, you know? Am I right, guys?
I hear it's too hard. I hear it's
too hard because a bunch of those people are bitches. Cry me a river, babies. Yeah.
And the thing, from what I've been reading about all that is that basically all these people like over leveled their Elden Ring characters, so they were like, well, the DLC will just be easy because I'll over level it, and then they knew that was coming, so they were like, no, we're not going to let you over level this shit, idiots. And then like,
there's a different progression track you have to do, so you can't show up here being level 1,000 thinking that you're hot shit. Because it turns out the developers of those games want them to be hard, and that's the whole ride. So to hear people who are allegedly along for the ride pissing and moaning about it is like incredible. Because all they've been telling me for the past 15 years is to get good. I'm just like, hey, I don't really like these games. And they're just like, oh, you just suck at it, bro. You just need to get good at it. You fucking understand what's going on. It's just like a button mash. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about your... I want to feel powerful when I play a video game, dude. I don't want that, like, I'm not fucking in there for the sadomasochist experience. I want to feel like onto a god. That's why I like shitty games like Kingdoms of Amalur, The Reckoning. I dodge roll into a million guys and I shoot them with arrows until they're all dead.
Like, yeah, that's the thing is, like, I want to play a game where either I'm powerful from the jump or I can see my power level, like, rising and I'm actually now able to overcome things previously. Like in deck builder roguelikes or like in Hades, like you start obtaining these things and they start making you stronger and now you're overcoming stuff and you just feel a lot better. Whereas you can do that in the Elden Ring and those kinds of games, but it's so much more of a brutal slog, and the mechanics to get strong are dumb. Like, literally, you go on YouTube, and it's like, dodge this rock for 6 hours, become a god in Elden Ring. And it's like, why? Why would I want to do that? Why do I want to dodge a rock for 6 hours? Can't I just play this game and get powerful naturally? It's like, nope, rock dodging. You gotta dodge a rock.
Elden Ring does rule, for the record. I just didn't have enough. I didn't have it in me to put that much time into it. Like, I bought it when it came out because everyone was talking about it. And I was just like, oh, I do really like how the open world stuff makes this better. But then I was just like, partially because I bought it on my PC, because at the time I didn't have a console, and I don't want to play it on a little screen. Anyway, those are me problems. Time for me petty grievance, because I teased this with Haley earlier in the pre-roll. You guys see any of this Tony stuff, specifically the Eddie Redmayne cabaret performance?
No, you're speaking gibberish to me. You're going to have to inform me of your section of the internet.
Okay, well, so the Tonys happened. Tonys is always like a big deal for theater section of the world. You know, it's one of the few like award shows that I think still has like respect on it. Like, it's like the BAFTAs. Like, winning those like still has like prestige to it. And you know, theater kids love to pull out all the stops for a thing. So the performances at it are usually big and lavish, and either like old standards or like tied to like new big hot shit that's happening, right? Eddie Redmayne did the number from Cabaret that everybody knows, the MC, welcome, you welcome, like that number, like, and that number's been done by a lot of people. Alan Cummings did it probably the best in most people's eyes, even though he wasn't like the original. Blah 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 blah. So I guess like Eddie Redmayne, as always, made a choice. The choice was incredibly strong because Eddie Redmayne like doesn't do subtlety. Subtlety is not his deal. And a lot of people were just like, "Yo, what is this guy doing?" And then a lot of other people were just like, actually, and pushing out their glasses and getting real like fucking like. Well, if you notice, if you knew anything about the original subject material, you know that he's meant to be making you uncomfortable. And so you get to have these people that were having this like organic response to Eddie Redmayne doing a thing, and then a bunch of theater kids who think they know better, like looking down their noses at those people and just being like, actually, you just think it sucks because you don't get it. And as somebody who definitely does get it, because I am a theater kid, I will say that I think that Eddie Redmayne, for the most part, sucks. I think that his lack of subtlety makes him just seem like all of his characters come across as some flavor of wildly autistic. And that is a choice he is making in all those roles, and I've disagreed with it nearly every time. Go watch Jupiter Ascending, motherfuckers. Tell me Eddie Redmayne's sick in that. Like, that dude is bonkers. Like, his performance style is like Nick Cage without the charm. It's just way over the top. It's too much. He needs to bring it back at least 3 notches. This is my hot take. Eddie Redmayne's performance did, in fact, kind of stink, especially compared to some of the all-time great ones. And it wasn't because I didn't understand what he was doing. Yeah, he's trying to look like a spooky, like, weird marionette. And he also makes a swastika with his arms because of the German connotations and stuff. I fucking get it. I get that shit. It didn't escape my notice. But at the same time, I was just like, I can barely understand what's coming out of his fucking mouth because of this weird choice he's making.
I actually saw 15 seconds of commentary about this where it ran the gamut that Elle just explained, where the opening person was just like, this is weird and creepy and I'm not getting it. And then immediately the next person was just like, you don't see the bold vision that Eddie Redmayne was going for. You don't understand. This is an artist painting upon a canvas of reality. And I didn't dig into it any further. I didn't even actually watch the performance more than just the 15 seconds or so of him being weirdly gangly and sort of just doing a thing, and it going for the creepy elf vibe or whatever it was. And
he's doing too much. It's just too much, tone it down a little bit. Some of acting is what you're not doing, But that's Elle's hot take of the week, is that Eddie Redmayne's Tony performance was kind of weird and I didn't like it, and I don't think that. And if you had that experience, that is your organic reaction to that performance. Like, nobody can tell you that you're wrong about that. They can be like, well, maybe you should rewatch it, like with like, you know, give it another shot now that you know a little more about it. But you shouldn't just be like, no, actually, you're dumb for thinking that sucked. It's like, I don't know. You can think somebody has bad taste, but if thousands of people are crying out about it all at once, there's got to be something there that people aren't jiving with.
Right. I don't want my performances in a major like award show to be an acquired taste. I want it to be accessible to everybody. I don't want to be like, yo, this is for like 20% of the crowd here. 80% of you are going to scratch your heads. For that 20%, 1 out of 5 of you, boom, we vibing, bro.
I think it's kind of important. So the thing is that like generally theater is already sort of like that. Most people don't get or like theater. That they think because they've grown up their whole life with radio and television and the internet, and they're just like, what the fuck is going on here? Because like theater requires a level of earnestness on the part of the performers in a willing to check your cynicism for that level of earnestness at the door for it to work at all. And when that stuff becomes incongruent, like it sort of like it makes theater look really bad a lot of the times. You know what I mean? Like Hamilton got too big for its britches, and like look at how the rubber band snapped back on that. Like Hamilton's not just like shorthand for corny. Like if I told you some guy was rapping and I was just like, yeah, he's doing like a Hamilton thing, you'd be like, but that was the biggest thing on earth, like fucking 7 years ago.
When he was like Tim Kaine in the membrane, Tim Kaine in the brain, when he was trying to boost the Hillary campaign, and that was probably the funniest Hamilton thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh man, yeah, but like poor Lin-Manuel Miranda. I mean, I'm sure he's doing just fine. But in terms of the cultural zeitgeist, like he just got for his lane in which he is very good. Like he's a talented like lyricist and like composer, but there's only a certain level of fame that your theater stuff can support before it starts to brush up on the parts of it where people are just like, what is this corny shit? Hey, why is there a Black George Washington like white guy rapping at me like wearing pantaloons right now? Can you explain that, motherfucker? Hey, why is Thomas Jefferson rapping a fucking like a seminar at me? What's going on with this? Is this music? What's going on here?
Also, I just don't need our founding fathers to be romanticized anymore. Like, please, I've had enough.
But what if they made them POCs so that you couldn't criticize them? You can't criticize them because they're black now. Shut up, they're black. You racist.
I love the idea. Like, I actually like heard that there was talk about like removing Hamilton from the $10 bill because no one knew who the fuck he was, and the play like actually saved him on the 10.
Oh, yeah, like, marketing ploy by Big Dollar. Is that what you're talking?
Yes.
Big money. The final boss of capitalism. Big money. That's like the hidden boss in the fucking video game of capitalism. Like you find like you're standing over the corpse of like the president in the year like 3500. Cyborg president lies dead at your feet, and you're like heavily breathing, and you're just like, I finally did it. I beat capitalism. And then it's just like, oh no, from behind the tree, big money. You're like, no. The new Metal Gear Solid is super weird. Anyway, okay. Enough of our completely unrelated to anything horseshit. Let's start talking about QAnon and politics and bullshit.
Yes, all that horrible stuff. But the good part of the horrible stuff, the amuse-bouche.
It's time for a light sampling of insanity. Get ready for the amuse-bouche.
So the Supreme Court, who we are stuck with until all of them die, because that's how it works, have decided once again to start making some rulings about stuff. I guess we're gonna get like a whole shooting gallery worth of decisions here in the next little while. So I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about here. Mike Raines sprung this one on me at the last moment while we were doing our show notes. So Mike Raines, I demand you take the reins and tell us about the SCROTUS. See what I did there? Because I don't respect them.
And you deserve to say that about them. They deserve that level of disrespect.
It's only because at least two of them are like patently bought and paid for. Like you literally, there's like a paper trail a mile long to just be like, these people have been paid for by big money. Big money's behind this.
Yes. It looks like at least one of the bought and paid for scumbags was on the right side of this ruling. This is Murphy versus Missouri. This was one of the lesser QAnon Supreme Court cases, but they were still pretty excited about it because the Fifth Circuit Court, which is basically the Trump nutball court, said, yeah, the Biden administration interfered with free speech by talking to Twitter and Facebook about maybe not doing the bad things. So we're totally going to slap their hand and free speechify America. And then it went to the Supreme Court where they ruled 6-3 that the plaintiffs actually can't bring this lawsuit, that the whole thing was bullshit and they can go fuck themselves. And so, this was another loss for the people that were just sort of well, now they're going to fucking make the Hunter Biden laptop real and expose the truth to the world and strike down the tyranny of the Biden administration. And Amy Coney Barrett was the one who wrote the opinion, and she was just this is bullshit. Fuck you, you morons, which is wild that this handmaiden trying to make other women handmaidens even she was just this is a bridge too far for me. I dismiss it out of hand. I've seen some people mockingly calling her Amy Wokey Barrett as a result of this ruling. So, but yeah, another arrow that was supposed to strike down the deep state and bring about the Great Awakening has once again been thwarted. And I'm seeing some people in the comment section being the government's censoring all of us and no one has the right to sue about it. What kind of justice is this? And so, well, maybe if you understood how the law worked, you'd get it, but you don't, so it doesn't matter. So, yeah.
Their interpretation of the Constitution is that free speech means say whatever you want, whenever you want. No repercussion fee, baby.
And from what because this just happened, this ruling just came down because everyone's waiting for does Dark Brandon have the right to murder Trump on the debate stage tomorrow night ruling, which the Supreme Court is holding out on for as long as possible because they're trying to delay it so that Trump doesn't go to trial before the election. But this ruling just came down basically a half hour or so ago, and it was womp womp, poor QAnon, because this all goes back to the fact that they created a conspiracy theory around the Hunter Biden laptop after the Hunter Biden laptop didn't swing the election to Trump in 2020. Because it was oh shit, Hunter Biden's a pederast and drugs in China, and here's his laptop. And then no one would publish the story. The New York Times, which is literally owned by Fox News and is just the absolute scummiest newspaper, they wouldn't even have a writer assign their name to the article. They were just sort of here, in an article, Hunter Biden, a criminal, Illuminati, whatever. And then when that all blew up in everyone's faces, they've now created this 4-year-long conspiracy theory about the media censored us and made Biden win because of bullshit. They violated the First Amendment. Now this lawsuit's going to prove it. And then it didn't, because they never get what they want. They never actually win in these situations, which is hilarious. You think they'd figure that out after a certain point, that they're being lied to, but no.
And for the time being, we're also not getting what we want / need, because we're really just in the waiting room of the presidential immunity ruling. And they better hope that they come back with a big old negative that the president is not fucking immune to prosecution, because they're also complaining about all of the fancy drugs they're shooting up Sleepy Joe Biden with, his performance-enhancing drugs, presidential growth hormone. They're turning that man into a bona fide Hulk. So what's a Donald Trump to do? What's a Marjorie Taylor Greene to do if Joe Biden could just rip them apart illegally in the process of his presidency while on crazy Hulk serum? Mike, what's going on with our sleepy president and his bevy of chemical accelerants?
So we've had the past, forever, that Joe Biden is in the grips of dementia, is one step away from death, and all that good stuff. And Republicans love that narrative because it's an easy thing to peddle because Biden's old. And so you just say, oh, he's old and senile and about to die. And they love to say this right up until Biden is going to do something where he actually gets on TV and is, for the most part, cogent, coherent, and also in debates against Donald Trump, always victorious. So literally in the run-up to in this past week, in the run-up to this debate, suddenly we've been hit with all kinds of stories about how here's why Joe Biden's going to win the debate. And the reason why he's going to win the debate is because he's hopped up on goofy juice. Like, they have the secret deep state anti-dementia drugs they can shoot Biden up with to keep him lucid for 2 hours, to dunk on Donald Trump, crush him in the debate, and then right after the debate, they'll have to like have a handler grab Biden and whisk him off the stage because he'll be a drooling invalid once again. Like, the serum only works for a limited period of time, but when it works, boy howdy, does he look good.
The serum that, if I'm reading my notes here correctly, they refuse to acknowledge as anything other than, quote, performance enhancing drugs. Every time I've seen like these complaints referred to, that's all they can say. Because of course they don't have like a real drug or combination of drugs that can explain the president going from like Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. Like, you know, there's like, oh, President fucking Sleepy Joe can barely walk across the lawn. What an idiot, fucking moron. And then come debate time, they're just like, dude, look at his glistening muscles and his gigantic brain. That's the only way that they could possibly have beaten Donald Trump on that stage in front of all of us, which he obviously did, is because he was on some sort of super medicine. And it's like, okay, name the medicine. Yeah. Say what you want to, which is probably adrenochrome, so we can all point at you and be like, this person is a fucking loon, and they need to be discredited immediately.
Yeah, I actually did see one QAnon supporter actually go for adrenochrome. Unlike Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who declared that Biden is going to be hopped up on quote-unquote energy drinks. So apparently right before going to the stage, Biden's just going to down like a fucking bottle of orange Gatorade.
He's a white monster guy, signaling.
Hey, calm down. I drink White Monster occasionally.
I was just kidding.
It's one of the most popular flavors for a reason. It's well stocked everywhere you go. I don't actually know. It just tastes like White Monster. But when you go to places that only stock like a couple of Monster flavors, usually that's the one they stock for their like low-cal option, which is the ones I drink. So I developed a palate for it. It's the same Stockholm Syndrome that like Red Bull drinkers have. Red Bull tastes like piss, but I still like it sometimes because I grew up drinking it. So every once in a while I'll be like, oh, sweet, it's piss.
Alcohol? Do you ever have a Red Bull, a vodka Red Bull?
No, I've never had alcohol. Yeah, I've done way better than that. I mixed I invented a drink at a convention one time, and I named it after a Brad Neely bit. We called it Dr. Hype Sports Acid. It's Everclear and the Lemonade Monster energy drink and Simply Lemonade, and you just pour a bunch of that stuff into a jug, and then you're good to go.
I just like that those usually say don't mix with alcohol, and we as a culture have been like, let's put it on a menu with alcohol.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you should have seen the festival I go to every January, which is really fun. When Panera came out with an energy lemonade that would kill you, like literally all those people were just like, all right, boys, how much Everclear we mix it with this lemonade at the festival, dude? Like, everybody was so excited to try Death Lemonade with booze in it. Luckily, I'm too old for most of that shit nowadays. Like, we did go down to Dr. Hype Sports Acid Road a couple of years ago for a special celebration, and it was we paid for it the next day. But typically, I just get stoned at places now, and I watch other drunk people make a fool of themselves. Anyway, so yeah, who knows what Sleepy Joe could be hopped up on? Whatever goofballs they're giving him.
It's probably.
I feel like we could all safely say ahead of schedule that as long as whatever they inject with him doesn't kill him, he'll come out and paddle Donald Trump's ass in a debate, and then Donald Trump is also, for the record, Donald Trump's is like, I demand Sleepy Joe take a drug test. I'll take a drug test. We can both get tested. The moment Joe Biden says, I will absolutely take a drug test, Donald Trump's going to be like, crooked Joe Biden, whatever test he wants to take, I want no part of it. It's like, okay, cool. Good stuff. Because I feel like we've been down this road before, you know? Like, I want to say that aside from, like, having to doing it like Danes to fucking, like, play in that sandbox, I'm willing to bet that Joe Biden would be perfectly willing to just take any dumbass test he could go head-to-head with, like, against Donald Trump, like, short of hamburger eating contest. I think Biden's got a pretty good, he certainly has a better shot of it than that lady who talked all that shit does winning that Olympic gold medal from Team USA. Fuck her. Sorry. That was another thing I saw on TikTok. What was that? Sorry.
Will you be watching the debate?
No. God, no. Mostly because I don't care, but also I'll be playing D&D. That bad D&D game, I think it's happening. It's tomorrow night. That's when the debate is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I get billed out of having to even think about watching the debate by that bad D&D game I'll be playing.
Yeah, I don't watch the debates mostly just because I can't stand dealing with that kind of stuff directly. I mostly filter watching these things through the media and just like clips as it's happening, and then I just watch the post game because in reality the debate itself. Well, I'm just saying, I just want to see the media spin because they have the focus groups, they tell you who won and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like. I'm so biased and so ridiculous. There's no way I could possibly have any view about it other than the view I'm not going to walk out of that debate going, wow, Trump made some really good points. He was quite cogent tonight. On top of his game. I'm just a monster that way. But
I'm going
to watch. Do you think Trump is going to use the debate to stealth drop his VP pick, Michael Flynn?
Oh, well, that is Trump. So what Trump is doing is he is announcing that the VP pick is going to be in tomorrow because he wants to get the actual debate off the headlines as quickly as possible. Like Trump's goal for Friday's headlines is Trump picks X, spars with Biden. Like that's like how he wants the media cycle to go. So he is just trying to get the debate off the front page as quickly as possible by shockingly announcing his vice president tomorrow.
It's me.
Oh, well, we knew that. We knew you, hard right, Nazi-loving Haley, were working very hard to be Trump's second in command in the MAGA White House. That was always the dream. So, I mean...
Whoever is the VP pick, it's actually just me in a mask.
In a mask. That works logically according to QAnon. Absolutely. I mean, if James Woods is Joe Biden, why is Haley not the shadow vice president of whoever Trump picked?
Why do you think Kamala keeps coming to Arizona?
Great. Are you the vice president for everybody? Are you always the vice president?
I'm
You are the eternal vice president?
Mm-hmm.
It must have sucked being Mike Pence for 4 years. I feel terrible for you on that front.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's pattern of speech indicates that he wants me to throw back to him, despite the fact I already threw to him and he trampled it. So
no.
But the VP pick's going to be Michael Flynn. Am I right, guys?
No. No, so that's QAnon's dream. QAnon's dream has been that Michael Flynn is going to be the vice presidential pick under Trump, and then we're going to get Trump Flynn here. And that means that because whoever Trump picks to be his vice president is the heir apparent in 2028 if Trump doesn't destroy the Constitution and declare himself dictator for life, which is pointless because he will not live past 2028 anyways. So Flynn, what did you say?
Are you planning something?
No, I'm not. I'm not planning anything. I'm just I'm watching videos of our not so sharp. There's a knock on the door. It's the Secret Service. Hey guys, how you doing? We take some coffee.
No, Mike just knows that if Sleepy Joe gets defeated, that the Deep State's going to unleash coronavirus too immediately. They're going to be like, and then somebody's going to come whisper to President Trump's ear, a second coronavirus has hit the country.
But yeah, so apparently someone in the Flynn family has made a statement that Michael Flynn will not be attending the debate, which is part of Trump's Veep rollout, that his vice presidential pick is going to be at the debate with him. So, of course, in QAnon world, this means this information is necessary. They're keeping Flynn under wraps until like a half hour before the debate or whatever when they reveal their vice presidential pick. However it's going to shake out. But that's their dream. And the thing that's really funny is those guys that hate Flynn, like the QAnon promoters who are like bros of QAnon because they all hate Michael Flynn. Those guys are just like, you idiots, you're trying to blackmail Trump into picking Flynn because you won't vote for him if Flynn isn't the vice president, and Flynn is bad, so Trump can't pick him, and I trust whoever Trump picks, and Margle. So it's just trust Orange Daddy. It's all good, even if he doesn't pick Michael Flynn.
So who do you guys have in the Trump VP pool? Like, you're a big man.
Think is going to win? Who do you actually think is going to get the VP pick?
I think it's going to be Burgum because he's the most boring person that you've probably never even heard of. Doug Burgum pulled at 1% in the Republican primaries. He looks insane. He has his headshot is just whoever thought that guy could be, whoever talked that guy into thinking he could be president is terrifying. But Burgum is an actual billionaire, unlike Trump, and he understands his job is to just go into a closet and eat fish heads for the next 4 years, which is what Trump did with Pence and will do with him. J.D. Vance, I think, has a shot, but I think J.D. Vance is too media hungry, and Trump has to be the prettiest belle at the ball at all times. He doesn't want his vice president on the Sunday morning talk shows every week being like, as vice president, I'm doing great stuff and MAGAing all the time. And Trump's going, get that man off TV. Only I can be on TV all the time. I'm the pretty boy. And
wasn't there all that talk a few months ago that he had a bunch of ladies on his short list because he wanted to actually try to win this thing?
Right? Yeah, all the ladies all evaporated off the list after Kristi Noem murdered her dog and bragged about it. That was kind of the end.
Murdered her dog, and with it, her political career.
Yes.
A magnitude of fuck up cell phone that you can only imagine being beaten by somebody being like, yes, I as your presidential candidate do have to admit part of my brain was even worse.
What about Nikki? How's she doing?
Who?
Nikki Haley.
Oh, Nikki Haley. Oh God, QAnon hates her of the passion of 1,000 burning suns, and I think Trump's even come out a couple times and been like, it will not be Nikki Haley. Rest easy, MAGA chuds. I will not pick her.
Dude, what about Lauren Boebert? You can get over the pants hand jays at the Oval Office.
The bad news, the bad breaking news about Lauren Boebert is apparently she's going to be reelected to Congress. Her terrible primary happened, and the Republicans that were running against Boebert all split the vote. So Boebert got in with much less than 50% of the vote. So good job, all you idiot Republicans, for not dropping out and solidifying the anti-Boebert vote behind one of you. I actually saw some Colorado guy being like, we're going to see what happens. And if Boebert gets over 50%, the people want Boebert. If she gets less, then the people didn't want her. But I interviewed all 5 Republicans that were going against her, and I told them, shouldn't you just drop out and get behind with somebody else? And they were all like, no, they should all drop out behind me. And so, yeah, last I saw, Boebert had 43% of the vote. And everyone, the other 5 dum-dums all had 57%. So great job not understanding how American voting works, you cretinous buffoons.
Wow.
But,
at least they had an election. Unlike unlike all the judges in this damn country, who I do have to stress, stay where they are until they are dead.
Yes, and Trump is literally bragging that when he gets back into power, all his judges are going to be 40 or 30 years old. All youngins. He is going to pack the court with young MAGA chuds.
Which means it's really unlikely that they'll die of natural causes. How good for them.
Yeah.
Is what I mean. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah. So, Tulsi Gabbard was the last woman on the list, and I think she's because she was a Democrat a little while ago, I think there's too much distrust of her in the MAGA community. So it's basically
okay. So Mike's given us all these other names, but he went with this pragmatic betting choice as a shrewd gambling man with the boring guy. Take the short money on the boring guy. So it's a pretty safe bet. How about you, Haley? Who do you have? Trump VP. We are going to hold you to this too, so you better have a good one.
I honestly don't know. It's just I thought maybe Nikki Haley, but Mike said that's not likely.
Mike doesn't know shit. Fuck Mike.
It's just does anyone matter? I feel like that'd be interesting if you picked like Charlie Kirk, you know?
The greatest pick ever.
Yeah.
My pick, because obviously I don't know anybody's name that could be a real candidate, is Joe Rogan. I think that would be a savvy boy.
Mr. Beast.
Dude, you pull out Mr. Well, the thing is, I think Mr. Beast knows that his money lies in sort of being just like appealing to apolitical 12-year-olds. Versus Joe Rogan, who at this point has to know that his base is stupid conservative idiots. So, if you want to get to the next echelon of power and you're Joe Rogan, you either have to go cabal or you have to back Trump, because he's the one fighting the cabal, of course, as all of us pro-cabal people know.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
God damn Trump.
And if he aligns with the power of Joe Rogan, my God.
I think you should pick Ted Nugent.
Oh, the Nugent would be great. Yeah, Kid Rock could help him get Michigan. That'd be great. I actually have seen a bunch of QAnon promoters talk about how Tucker Carlson would be a great VP pick. I've actually seen them go down the road of like, Tucker is vice president. Excellent choice, sir. Excellent choice.
Well, I mean, if what you want in your VP is a Donald Trump ball washer, then yeah, I mean, he seems like he'd be fucking excellent at the job. It's what he's been doing. Even when he was like literally the biggest fish in his pond, he was using his platform to just completely go to town on that, like, and the base of the shaft as well. Like, he was really giving it a workout, and that was when he was like the king of his castle. And it was just like, my liege, what's on your agenda today? And he's like fucking talking about how sick Donald Trump is, of course. Fucking love Donald Trump, dude. And it was like, okay, well, thank God you're not using your power for, like, localized evil, I guess. Maidens, be safe. Feel at ease. He's too busy worshiping Trump to mess with you.
The last thing I saw was there was some talk, like, breaking news, Ben Carson now topping the charts for VP. And Ben Carson is, oh my God, that would be a terrible selection because the man has negative charisma, can't talk, and Trump's racist base would probably not be very happy with him nominating a black man as his vice president. So, like, it's a lose-lose-lose.
And he doesn't even need to court the black vote, baby. All those criminals already love him because he's
right. You know? Yeah, I forgot about Trump's savvy outreach to the black community by being a convicted criminal.
Yeah, dude, black people love a convicted felon. It's just nature.
Yeah.
What a bunch of fucking racists. I love them.
Yeah,
well, I love to hate them. Let's be clear. All right, speaking of love to hate, it's time to talk about Arizona, the state you love to hate. Hi, Haley. I just invented a jingle for your state.
It was good. It was good. I liked it.
That's good. Get that before your state congress. It can be your new state motto: Arizona, the state you love to hate.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds great. Oh my God, he can't stop rhyming. He's the modern day Shakespeare. All right.
Arizona's being really normal this week. Last week we made news nationally because like some guy wanted to shoot up a Bad Bunny concert. This week, there's a Arizona GOP kind of lead here. She's part of the local Maricopa Republican Party. She's like the co-chair. Shelby Bush. We've talked about her numerous times on this podcast because she is the lead of We the People Arizona Alliance, which is the local group that basically helped Patrick Byrne with the audit, like bring the audit here. Patrick Byrne and Michael Flynn and Mike Lindell have all funded We the People AZ Alliance. And yeah, they were like heavily credited with bringing the Cyber Ninjas audit here and kind of helping to organize that. And then
which was great. They wanted to be. I mean, they hired that firm to come confirm. Yeah, Joe Biden won. Good stuff. And then they walked away with several millions of dollars.
And then during the audit, they because it was like looking at the ballots, they had access to the ballot signatures, and being the very responsible people that they were, We the People AZ Alliance that went on to give those signatures to the Gateway Pundit and post them on Twitter, and the Carrie Lake people, who then they also went on their own dealio of posting it on Twitter and posting it at rallies, like people's signatures that they were like, these don't look like they match, right? Public, here's somebody's real name that voted. Anyways, illegal. So that happened. We the People AZ Alliance is very responsible folks. And then Shelby Bush just generally has some sway in local politics because of her position in the local party. And her partner, Steve Robinson, has like run for a seat here, but he didn't win. He just got a bunch of money from We the People AZ Alliance. So it's a really cool group. But she was at a county like party event, and she was talking about Stephen Richer, who is the Maricopa recorder, who is the victim of a lot of election-based conspiracies, because he does say that the election was not stolen, even though he's a Republican, and is in general, as the recorder, has a lot of like just in, he's responsible for the elections basically. So they pin a lot of the stolen election stuff on him. He's gotten some pretty legit threats that have resulted in actual legit convictions. And Shelby Bush at this event said that if Stephen Richer walked into this room right now, I would lynch him. And she said that in a crowd with like an actual like GOP event. She also kind of took hits at. She claimed she didn't know he was Jewish, but she did take hits at him and said, "Let's pretend that this gentleman over here was running for recorder, and he's a good Christian man that believes what we believe. We can work that out, right? That's unity. Hey, we're gonna shake hands and we're gonna agree, and we're gonna run a good Christian foundation campaign, and we're going to treat each other well, and we're gonna get through this together, right? That's unity. But if Stephen Richer walked into this room, I would lynch him." So she was talking about like, a good Christian campaign, and then said she would lynch Richer, who is Jewish. So there was some like, he posted it. Richer posted it. This incident actually happened 3 months ago, and Richer was tipped off about it and posted about it on Twitter, and it like blew up, especially because there was like a lot of people locally that were like, well, I don't agree with her entirely, but maybe you should be hanged if the trial by process allows that. So there was like this like kind of like a lot of people responding like, yeah, maybe you should kind of be killed. So there was some local civil rights groups, and just like people in general that have been trying to get the Republicans to denounce Shelby Bush and, her comments, and, maybe kick her the fuck out of the party. But so far that has not, there's been like 2 guys who are also victims of a lot of these conspiracies. So it's kind of like, yeah, no shit. They would, say these comments are unacceptable. But for the most part, it's been pretty like, meh.
Hey, if the Republican wants to murder you, then you probably deserve to be killed. So fuck you. I mean, that's where we are now.
Yeah.
I mean, they do love threatening to kill people.
Yes.
That's why they had to decommission the Pence robot. Because he grew a little bit of a soul there at the end, and they were just like, damn it, right there at the end he malfunctioned and he wouldn't do the thing, so we had to decommission it.
Richer also announced that he will be voting for Biden, so I'm sure the threats against him are just gonna like grow. So good luck, buddy. In other Arizona news, election season is starting, and it is starting strong. Ballots go out next week, on the 3rd. And maybe you have heard that a Maricopa County election worker was arrested 2 days ago for stealing some election equipment. And arrested, like he's being charged. This is a huge deal because they're gonna have to do like a big security reset. He didn't steal anything like huge. He didn't steal like a fucking whole monitor. He stole the security fob and some keys that can access the tabulation machines. This is gonna be a big deal no matter what, because it's election conspiracies, it's election news, it is an actual crime. And here in Arizona, there has been a hilarious just kind of debate around this guy. His name is Walter Ringfield Jr. He's 27 years old. When this news broke, local news is being actually pretty responsible about it. They're just like, here's the facts. He was arrested for stealing the fob. Here's how much it's going to cost to replace all the equipment. Just like statements and information from the police reports. It's all very that. But on Twitter, that Mueller She Wrote account flagged a True Social that the man allegedly operated. And so obviously they were immediately like, he's a Trump humper. He's a big Trump guy. And that Midas Touch, trash, wrote an article that was said that he was a Trump guy and all of his other social medias had been wiped. And so proof that he's a Trump guy. I was kind of digging around on the account that is allegedly his, and there's a few posts that are semi-Trump positive. He thought that Trump hanging with Muhammad Ali and Rosa Parks was proof that he wasn't racist. And he shared some Gateway Pundit and Epoch Times articles, but a lot of them were just kind of general news. It wasn't even too here or there. But a lot of it was clearly just guy not okay. He was talking about making deals with the devil and Hades and Shibulba. Repeatedly, he kept talking about having conversations and wanting to make deals and wanting to become president himself if this account is his. And yeah, there was just an interesting mix of politics in general on the account, because there was some even non-right-leaning content that he shared on there. And so the Midas Touch and Mueller She Wrote folks were claiming that all his other socials have been wiped, but that is incorrect, and it's just a different username. And I knew this was going to happen as soon as I saw it, but there's a ton of photos of him with Democrat politicians on his other socials, and he did seem to intern for some Democrats a couple years ago and was registered as a Democrat 2 years ago. Now he's not registered as anything. So now the kind of more right-wing conspiratorial accounts are, claiming he was a Democrat and saying that he did this and did the whole True Social thing as he's an operative kind of talk. And they're still citing the Midas Touch account, being that's why he's wiping all of his accounts. And it's like, no, it's just like that Mueller she wrote and that Midas touch is just completely bullshit information. So yeah, there's this back and forth now, like, was he a right winger? Was he a left winger? And it's like, seems kind of not like all there in general, in my opinion, not to armchair psychiatrist here, but some of the posts are just a little bit out there. And also in general, like, it could have just been a mistake. Like, it's just a key fob. It's just a security key fob. Like, if he had no ill intention, I don't think we'll ever fucking know, because this is going to be just like, if you post about him and don't mention that he's a Trump humper, like, you'll get a bunch of people being like, he was a MAGA guy and did this for MAGA purposes. And if you don't do it the other way, you'll get yelled at by a bunch of right-wingers who are telling you he was actually a Dem operative. So that's what's happening in Arizona right now with this guy. He will never have a normal life again. He'll probably be swept up in so many conspiracies, especially around election time when this just becomes a conversation again and they stir up a bunch of election-based conspiracies and they're like, it's because of Walter fucking Ringfeld Jr. There was even like people, like one of Carrie Lake's people saying that he ran for Senate, which was false. He's not even old enough. So yeah, there's just like a lot of rumors already swirling around this guy. Mistake or not, he's in trouble. And yeah, good luck, buddy.
And he's not a Democrat or a Republican. He's a member of the Satan Make Me President party. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So
yeah, and also just in general, it's just like you. I mean, there's no motivation listed. He didn't say I did this for anything. So far, nothing. So all accounts are speculation. Anyway, he's as far as motive. Though I don't think we'll ever pretty much know the truth. So that's what's going on in Arizona. We'll probably hear that name come election season.
Oh, he's going to be like Rudy's going to go after that guy and say he cost Trump the election. He gets sued for defamation like he did previously.
Mm-hmm. So happy Arizona times.
Yay.
Excellent. And always happy to hear from our second, first, tied with Florida, craziest state in these here United States, Arizona. Where's some wacky shit going on?
In the Florida of the West.
Who needs who needs water to be a Florida? You know.
If you just go down about 4 miles, it's kind of considered Arizona's beach, but Rocky Point, it's technically in Mexico.
That's American hubris in its finest. Arizona's beach, not in Arizona.
Alrighty. So on that note, I think it's time for us to get to Q's in the news.
From the digital headlines to the digital front lines, it's Q's in the news.
All right. Today we get to make our content warning work overtime because we have to talk about the doctors of disrespecting the age of consent. Starting with, of course, the lead story for the week, biggest social media to-do of the now. Dr. Disrespect turns out to be, I guess, an alleged pederast and confessed groomer.
Yeah, so the stories around Dr. Disrespect have been swirling for a while, and then
I'm shocked. He always seemed like such a nice guy. My favorite of his funny comedy bits was when he was recording in that bathroom that one time.
Oh yeah, like,
live streaming a bathroom at a public event. I think it was like E3 or whatever. Good stuff, you know.
I do quote the Shungite meme quite a lot. Like I bought a bunch of Shungite. No, not Sugnite. He's locked up in prison. Anyways, it's like a billion-year-old rock, you know, to like protect against frequencies and stuff. And I bought a bunch of stuff for my La Casa. I do that. I send that copy pasta to people all the time, and they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So
I mean, I'm hearing you talk about it now, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was kind of a little bit conspiratorial and was into the like Shungite gem, which is just like a black gem, and like some conspiratorial people think it like protects against 5G, protects against all that shit. It's just a tinfoil hat for your house, and he was super into that.
Is it a special type of mineral that has to be no more than 16 years old?
So yeah,
it's called Drink a Night.
Also, I know he was like that stream right before he got banned. He was talking about David Icke, wasn't he?
Oh, I didn't see that. But that sounds.
I mean,
like...
he also was like a COVID vax truther or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's been a known scumbag for a long time, and apparently, including to known for this scumbaggery. Like I guess this was a sort of like open secret in like the games journalism space, but like nobody had enough proof to like run it as a story.
The victim did not want to come forward, so that's why Twitch was able to ban him, because they saw the messages, the inappropriate messages, but the victim didn't want to press charges. They didn't want to go to journalists about what happened to them, so there's nothing to do. But Twitch banned him. That's why he got banned. And then a few days ago, one of the people that kind of had secondhand knowledge of it was just like, "Fuck it, I'm doing it."
I think he was like part of the Twitch like response team or whatever at the time. So he just came. To be fair, like he still knew enough to like try to cover his ass. I don't know how well it would hold up in court, but he never mentioned this dude by name or his handle. He just posted a tweet that said he got banned for some inappropriate text he was sending to a minor. That's it. Game over. Like that's the whole story. And it was just like, okay, everybody knew who he was talking about. But for the record, he never mentioned that dude by name.
And then the people came out to defend Dr. Disrespect and all this stuff. And then finally Dr. Disrespect was like, here's what happened, man. I was texting some youngin' and, probably shouldn't have done that. But
the response was super great because it starts, he comes in typical Dr. Disrespect hot. He's just like, I've never bullshitted with you guys. I was fucking keep it fucking real. And all these vultures are coming at me. So I'm here to drop some fucking truth bombs out. You hear the facts. Was I texting an underage girl? Yes. And then he continues. But that's literally the format of his thing. There's like 2 paragraphs of him just being like, people are coming after me. I have to defend myself about my legal obligations. I can only say so much. And you know that I don't bullshit. So I have to tell myself, like, I have to come out here and defend myself. And then the start of the paragraph where he defends himself. So to answer your allegations, did I do the thing I said I did? Yes, I did. And to continue about why I'm innocent, though, just like,
he
all right,
it
cool.
Crossed over into inappropriate territory too, and that's like him saying that about himself. It's like, that's pretty wild. And he kept editing Minor in and out of his post. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
I saw that it was being edited like on the fly. Like he was a little too like I wasn't watching the edits, but I was watching the comments. People talking about how they're just like, dude, I've seen him edited like 3 times since it's been posted. Yeah, I mean, everybody was talking about this on TikTok that morning, so I got some maximum eyeballs of some of this drama.
Yeah,
I
just Twitter searched Dr. Disrespect edit, and the first thing that popped up was Mr. President. A third tweet edit has hit the towers.
It's the meme of the morning. That's the meme I started Mike with. I was like,
yeah.
Well, we'll get into it in a minute.
Dude, you know what they say, like a fucking comedy plus tragedy, and like that's the way it goes. Like that shit happened at least 20 years ago, so now we can just crack wise about it. It's real funny.
Yeah. And someone sent a DM to Libs of TikTok being like, yo, when are you going to talk about this? When are you going to put Dr. Disrespect on blast? Because protecting the kids, that's your whole brand, isn't it, Libs of TikTok? And Libs of TikTok immediately blocked that person on Twitter. Just like the person DM'd them, and they were just like,
dude, you can't, whoa. I mean, you can't expect conservatives to talk about all the times one of their own get pinched for doing fucking weird pedophile stuff. I mean, they never get any sleep.
This is true.
One of the other streamers that has been like, he's like a big streamer and like in Doc's orbit and has always defended Dr. Disrespect, Nick Merckx. Cause he kind of went like, he kind of made news before for basically defending the Proud Boys when they went absolutely wild on a bunch of parents in California and beat the shit out of them. And they like weaponized this narrative that they were like just parents trying to protect kids from groomers, LGBTQ groomers. And he fell into this like narrative and was talking about it on his stream. And I believe that's when he had his skin removed from Call of Duty. And Dr. Disrespect was like, I'm not going to play Call of Duty anymore. And he's just been like one of those big like anti, transphobic voices on the like gaming sphere, where he like goes after like just trans people for no reason and calls them groomers. And he like has a thing for the person that's like part of Mr. Beast's whole network that's like trans, and like attacks them for being trans and a parent, and just calls them groomers. And then it's like this shit all happens and he's like totally defending Doc. So yeah, it's just the usual shit. It's just like
did he keep defending him after the admission came out? Because I saw another one of I saw a delicious fucking crow eating from a guy. What's his name? Something Tim the Tat Man. I think so. Who like a guy I never heard of, except I guess he's somebody in Doc's orbit. But he had to post like a TikTok like responding to the Dr. Disrespect like admission. So he's sitting there and like it's like 2 full minutes of him just being like, I've known Doc for a long time and like he's my boy and we're real good, but as it pertains to what he admitted, if it's true, which he says it is, and you can tell he's trying to force it out, so he's just like, I can't stand with that. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't do that at all. That's something I can stand with. It's so funny watching him like he wants to defend him so bad. He wants to defend him so hard, but Dr. Disrespect literally started his admission of guilt with, "Yes, I did that thing. I did that thing, and at the time I knew it was wrong." Because wrong's another word for inappropriate, by the way. That's
yeah.
So. Yeah, that's really God. It's so super funny watching these bros have to torch their fucking bridge with this guy that they obviously they love him. He looks like he's from the 80s and he hates the same stuff that I hate.
His real name is Guy Beam the Fourth. Like, what kind of name is that?
It's a name that makes you get a stage name like Dr. Disrespect. I mean, this is how that works.
I'm sure fucking Asmongold and all of his stupid ass goons had to fucking like. I bet there's some video here just be like, oh, here's Dr. Disrespect's. Doesn't matter. Did I do the thing? Yes. Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. I guess he did it. All right.
Next caller.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, I guess it couldn't have happened to a shittier guy, or could it?
Well, that's all for creep news, right, Mike?
No, we have a little more creep news because Elon Musk, man, who has vowed to strike down child pornography on Twitter /X/ whatever the fuck he wants to call this terrible dying platform. He has personally reinstated another account that posted C-Scam on Twitter, which is just absolutely excellent. It's an account.
I'm sure it's coincidental that it's shortly after he got rid of public visibility for likes.
Yeah.
He's like, you may no longer see what I like on Twitter, and then for reasons independent of that, I'm letting this guy back on Twitter because of free speech.
I mean, what that account posted, according to Elon, was like, I texted that was like, I think the first thing I texted Mike this morning because I was just like, what the fuck? I was like seriously considering just like turning off my Twitter again. It's just like, I can't be on this fucking website.
Yeah. So yeah, ViceGuard literally posted a picture of a maimed child being like assaulted, and Elon was like, yeah, that photo tripped one of our auto sensors and then banned their account for C-Scam. But because they were just trying to spread awareness about what happened, I'm going to reinstate the account. And it's like, there's no spreading awareness of fucking child porn. That's just a crime. It's a crime to post that shit. And the fact that he did this previously with Dom Lucre and everyone just sort of was like, oh, look, Elon's that wacky Elon letting a right-wing grifter post fucking child porn on Twitter, and it's okay. And now he's just done it again for another account. And there's no line. There's no line here. If you're Elon's bro, you can do anything you want on this site, and he's just gonna hand wash it. He's gonna wash it away and let it be acceptable.
I just have to say too, personally, that I saw Robbie Starbuck basically like suck in that line when Elon was like, "Oh, he posted child porn. It will be reinstated," and he was just like, "Thank you for your explanation, sir." And it's like, Robbie Starbuck has a fucking fake documentary called The War on Children that literally targets a local drag queen here, because that's who's harming children, is a nice man who reads books and teaches, not the guy who just posted like a violent assault of a child on Twitter.
Well, so I mean, they can't tell you that they hate the drag queens because that's where their children are the safest. You know, kids might learn stuff at those drag shows that will like allow them to better determine when they should be going to the authorities when stuff happens to them behind their closed doors at their own homes by their conservative parents.
Yeah, that is a lot of like the secret reasons why these people don't like sex education, because a lot of sex education is like, these are things that are bad that shouldn't be happening, and a child might hear that and go, "Oh, wait, those are bad. They shouldn't be doing that to me. Oh no!" And yeah, I'm not saying it's all of them, but I'm saying that that is part of the dark side of like the homeschooling thing and the defunding public schools. And you don't talk to my kids about sex. I talk to them about, well, I'll bring it up when it's right and appropriate in God's name. And
dog, I don't know how anybody doesn't look at any parent who's just like, actually, I would love to be with my kids all day, every day. Thank you. Like fucking cockeyed. I'd be like, that's bananas. I'd be like all the other stuff notwithstanding, it's just like, I don't know. I just don't trust anybody that wants to be around their children that long for various reasons. Like, it's like manipulation at best, and it gets way worse from there. So like you and your kids need time apart. Like you and anybody need time apart. You're not supposed to be around everybody 24 hours a day, you know? Like, that's like, fucking crazy talk.
the whole stereotype of the wine mom is being around your kids all day is so stressful. You need a little wine to take the edge off and relax after a long day of child rearing, because kids are grueling. It's a chore to be a parent. And yeah, and and this leads to like the whole quiverful thing, and like libs of TikTok was like, when I'm ready, I'm gonna have like 8 kids and brainwash them, and we're gonna outbreed the libs and blah blah. And it's like your kids aren't robots. Like that's not how children actually work. Like, you can't program your kid to be a conservative. If you pull that shit, it usually backfires. I mean, like, usually children rebel against their over authoritarian parents, or they go to the cops because you're doing more than just brainwashing them.
But the fact that they're so scared that they're already thinking about needing to outbreed the libs means that they themselves have realized that time is eroding their numbers, and that the world is only getting more liberal, fools, and that even if we don't get it done now, it will be done by the passage of time. You cannot stop cultural advancement unless you destroy it all.
I don't know why. Like, I just like Elle's speech was either that of like a tutorial in a game explaining how cultural victory works, or was just like the good guy explaining to the bad guy why they've already lost in the battle. Like, that is just
in a roundabout way. Before we get into our mailbag, that reminds me, I've been listening to a bunch of synthwave recently. One of the groups that's been playing is a group called Gunship, and on a couple of their tracks they have John Carpenter do like a crazy dystopian monologue. it's just super funny to be sitting there playing a video game, and like one of those tracks will randomly pop up, and then suddenly it's just like, yeah, for like the next like 40 to 65 seconds, John Carpenter's just gonna say a bunch of crazy shit at you, like stuff like, our cities now blackened mausoleums, and you're just like, oh my god. Fate is a stillborn dream. Thank you, John Carpenter. It's uplifting. All right, on that positive note, it's time to get into our mailbag.
Our listeners got questions, we got answers. It's time for Q&A.
To be completely honest with you, dear listener, we were supposed to talk about Julian Assange, but we ran a little long, so we might get back to that if it remains important. But the short version is he may be the storm. The storm is here. It's his fault. Okay, mailbag.
Yeah. Oh, God. Steph asks, why am I so easily distracted? And the answer is, you're maybe an adult with undiagnosed ADHD. That happens to a lot of my friends.
Fucking big pharma Mike Raids over here. Just hot to try. Yeah, get these pills down your throat real quick. I saw that. I'll whip you into shape.
I think we should talk about how breakfast is a conspiracy. Have you guys been seeing that?
No. What? No. What?
Yeah.
I don't want to have that conversation. That's going to make me angry. they already tried to ruin pizza. Now they're coming for breakfast. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Aren't they from the goddamn South? That's where breakfast lives. That's breakfast's home. Anyway, no, I probably agree with Mike. In fact, a lot of the times I think that I myself might have some undiagnosed some such going on that prevents me from like staying focused on a thing. Like I'll be hot to trot with an idea for a thing, like design for a game, idea for a short story, thing I want to paint, like so just any sort of project. Just like in my mind, it'll be racing. I'll sit down, I'll start doing it for like maybe a day or two, and then it'll just be like, well, your motivation for that's all done. that's done. You throw that right in the garbage.
Yeah.
Except for the mini painting thing, I need to get back to doing that, but it was difficult in the workspace I have because the air conditioner makes my acrylic paint dry out. Because my room is small. Anyway, that's but yes, I do. Funny joke aside, migraines might be onto something. Maybe you need to see a specialist about that.
Yeah,
or maybe you just need to get good with willpower, scrub. I guess that's the other. That's like, is there an alternative to that? Right? Like, if it's just like that's just your personality. I don't know. Like, it's not really. I'm not sure if that counts as a revelation, even if it's true.
Yeah. Eric, the Deep State Operative, asks, what is one question you would like to have both candidates answer in the presidential debate?
Draw a turtle. Sorry, that's not a question. Can you draw a turtle?
I think that might end the election right there if we did draw a turtle, because I'm not thinking that Trump's going to. You might draw the giraffe.
I have an actual one that's an actual question. I'd be like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how afraid of you are sharks? How afraid of sharks are you? That would be the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how afraid of sharks are you? Because Joe Biden would probably just be like, 1, I suppose, and only not 0 because sometimes I'm obligated to fly over or be near an ocean as part of official duties. Otherwise, you could just avoid the ocean. It seems pretty easy to me. And then Trump would talk about nothing else for the rest of the debate. It would be all shark rambling.
I think the best part about that was after Biden gives his rating on sharks, that like Trump, like his lizard brain would want to say 10 so badly, but then he would know that 10 would make him look weak. So he'd be like in this paralysis mode, and he'd probably just grunt out like 7, like, oh. And then he'd be mad at himself that he went that high. And he'd be like, no.
He'd be shouting down Joe Biden the moment he said 1. He'd be like, Sleepy Joe doesn't know about a shark. He's never been around a shark in his life. Shark is the most dangerous apex predator the world's ever known. They stopped evolving millions of years ago. They're perfect. You should be terrified of a shark. If Sleepy Joe was ever near a shark and shit his old diapers, he fucking couldn't fuck with a shark. He'd like completely lose it. He'd have a fucking meltdown.
Oh my god!
Just having your mortal enemy just be like, oh, the thing that you have like this weird hyperphobia of, yeah, that ain't shit, really. I mean, that's about as stupid as somebody being afraid of a zombie. Like, what are the odds? Like, so yeah, I'd say slightly above zombie only because they technically exist. Donald Trump would just be like, "You fucking idiot! I can't believe this."
Donald Trump suddenly presses a button. Let's see how scared of your sharks you are now. They both just fall into a vat of water and the sharks start swimming around them.
Dude, I mean, if that's how we're deciding our next president, fucking so be it. To drop both of them into a vat with a shark and see who comes out. Absolutely. Hell yeah. That person seems like they could lead a country. Fucking right on.
God, any question I have would pale in comparison to that. So I'm doing with shark, and we're.
Haley, did you have a question for our presidential candidates?
I think it would be funny to ask them just to see what their responses would be, and if they would respond, or least favorite race and why.
The thing is that Biden would probably see that coming and be able to answer it, whereas Trump would have this incredibly pregnant pause for like 10 seconds before he then started parroting whatever Biden said.
Pregnant pause my ass. Like the fucking the person would just be like, "What's your least favorite race and why?" President Trump. He'd be like, "Mexicans." You just have it like locked and loaded, and it just for the first time ever, he would give a succinct, just immediate answer to a thing.
Oh God.
He's a proud Irishman. Maybe he would say he hates
the English. Oh, he hates the crown.
It's like, all I hate is the crown.
Those fucking Brits.
I'm glad that bitch is dead.
Yeah, I'm glad that bitch is dead. I hope Charles goes too.
Oh shit! I think they got the dose on this stuff wrong. I'm turning into a werewolf. Oh, sorry. See, the debate we just put together is so much better than what we're going to get.
Yes. Oh God. Oh, Werewolf Biden versus Shark Lord Trump. That's what America needs.
Like, yeah, like if ever anybody was going to animate like a clip of this show, like just mock debate between Biden and Trump, where Trump goes on an unhinged rant about sharks, then they get dropped into a vat of sharks and fight for a while. Then they get asked an incredibly salacious question about which race they like the least. and then Sleepy Joe Biden turns into a werewolf and escapes the stage. That would be incredible.
And I enjoy that he becomes a werewolf, not because of the full moon, but because of his hatred of the English.
Yeah, in the serum, in the wrong dose of his fucking super juice.
It's racist against England.
Yeah, and then he like erupts from the ceiling of the hall where they're having the event, presumably to go kill like the king. You're just like, oh, where's he going? And you're like, if I had to guess, I'd say he's probably going to kill King Charles.
Snorlax CPAP asks, has anyone seen Ron recently? Did good old Ron ride off into the Arizona sunset after his failed campaign? Did the deep state get him?
He's jacked up with Hermione somewhere, right?
What is old Ronnie Watts up to? He hasn't posted anything on Twitter since the 8th, and that was.
Did he go back to Australia to keep working on his killdozer?
Yes. Wow, what the fuck, Ron? I don't even know if this is a bit or not, but on the 6th he tweeted, "I am at the Starbase launch, standing room only to watch a rocket bounce off the firmament and splash into the ocean." Is Ron actually going flat Earth here? What the fuck is wrong with him? Oh my God, that is very
the
silly.
Firmament.
Yes,
that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Unless he thinks that's a scientific term for something, like unless he's using the term wrong.
No. Yeah, and he had some posts about Trump got found guilty on all counts. Making your political opponent a martyr is usually a mistake. So before he posted flat Earth bullshit about rockets, he was just like, "Oh, Trump getting convicted is good for him."
Yes, again, this is where liberals or libs and Republicans, aka true patriots, differ in that, even if it would be politically bad, the man broke the law. He was prosecuted for crimes because that's what you do when somebody breaks the law. The politics of it should in theory be irrelevant either way. They're literally just we think he committed a crime. We have evidence of that fact. We're going to put it in front of a jury and let them make a decision. And then the political stuff is obviously important because it's happening now. But I'm just it's not just as a liberal, I'm not just oh man, we should have just let it slide on all those crimes he committed. so that way we don't martyr him. It's like, that's a bridge too far made. No, shut up. Like, if you commit crimes, you get prosecuted. That's how our justice system is supposed to work.
This is what you're saying is literally the world QAnon works in, where it's just like, we can't arrest Hillary because too many people would be sad about finding out all the murders she committed. And it's it's a super convenient way for them to absolve themselves of ever actually doing anything. Super great. Right.
I don't want to be part of that group. I want to be part of a group. Put the evidence in my hand or in front of my peepers. Like, show the people, here's the evidence, and then let our system of fucking, like, lifetime appointed judges determine that thing, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yes.
Get it in front of them, lifetime appointments. That's why we have them there for life. Trusted individuals that are only there until they die.
America, freedom.
Come on! I should have gone with a screech, but I went with a caw, so it was just like, yes, the HellwQrld is here.
Yes. Ronnie Watts is lazy and maybe a flat earther. So, further updates as events warrant. Space Cat asks, did any other disgraced streamer Nazis get booped in the snoot? Not that I know of. That would be awesome. I wish every week we had a Nazi that was getting punched in the nose to talk about. Sadly,
the platform that Sneeko unfortunately streams on has a steady stream of it. It's just there are a bunch of nobodies and nobody cares, and that platform just kind of exists for those people to incite harassment and then get booped in the snoot. So really,
are you talking about Kick? I don't care. I'll name them. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to last long because it's got more child porn than Elon's hard drive.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, you beat me to it. I was going to be like, no, that's going to be Dr. Disrespect is going to be streaming on there tomorrow. He's going to be streaming on there because we all know what Kick is for. Like, everybody who knows what Kick is knows what Kick is for, which is why people like me don't use Kick, because I know what it's for.
You might see a Nazi get booped in the snoot, but you are going to have to go through a sea of some content that you don't want to see. Go on YouTube and watch Jay Aubrey's video about Kick, and that'll be enough information.
I will say that up until a couple months ago, I thought that there was another messaging service that didn't do video that was also spelled in a different way, but pronounced Kick.
Yeah, KIK. That was like when I was younger.
Right, yeah. So for a long time, I thought people were talking about that, and I was just like, oh, that platform always did feel kind of seedy and grimy to begin with. So I'm not surprised that they went to video and kind of did the full pivot to that. Imagine my surprise to find out that, no, they're two different things. I was like, oh, God.
It was the pivot when Twitch was like, no more promoting gambling to children. And some of the streamers were like, fuck that.
Fuck that. I want to do it topless. And they were just like, okay, well, we've got the platform for you. Mm-hmm. There you go. Get them out. Get them out. Have we verified your age? Nah. No. No, we haven't.
And our final question from the mailbag, Antifa's mediation instructor asks, QAnon claims that Julian Assange wasn't in prison or this is somehow staged. What are some tasty alternate Assange theories?
There you go.
So, the two main things that have happened with Julian Assange's liberation, he has taken a plea deal with the American government, and now he is on his way to Australia, where he's going to be totally free. It's going to be great.
Haley, for the record, saw the writing on the wall and immediately left the recording. She saw that Mike was going to take this mailbag question as an opportunity to circle back to that headline I tried to get us out of, and that she has 10 to 15 minutes to go do something off mic.
No, she doesn't. I'm going to be very brief. But the two things that happened were, one, in 2018, Q made a Q drop that mentioned Julian Assange by his initials, J.A., and said ETA June. So since Assange was freed in June of 2024, 6-year delta, totally nailed it. And so, yeah, they're over the moon about this. They're so happy that they've got the ultimate Q proof confirmed.
Nostradamus confirmed. Future unlocked.
And the other thing they've been doing is there's videos of Assange like getting on a plane and stuff, and they're like, Assange looks kind of chunky. when you're in prison, they feed you gruel and fish heads. There's like, I don't think he was in prison. I think he's been waiting this whole time and like under some sort of police protection for the moment to strike. So they've created this whole narrative that because Assange, who was almost assuredly being funded by WikiLeaks and his supporters to have like a good commissary fund in his prison, so he was able to get all the choicest snacks and treats from the prison like cafeteria. Like, because Assange wasn't rail thin and emasculated, he couldn't possibly have been in actual prison.
Also, he's just aging like a regular, because he's a human being. So, like, people do tend to sort of like look a little blobbier as they age. It's just, it happens to us all, you know. Gravity starts affecting us.
Yeah. So it's very funny, but they've created this whole narrative that he wasn't in prison this whole time. The whole thing was just a setup for the Great Awakening, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the happiest they've been in so long because Assange is one of their biggest heroes. They were able to tie it together with a Q drop. It's just bonkers. So, it's going to be really awesome when their God Emperor gets dunked on tomorrow night and all their happiness is but bitter ashes in their mouths.
Okay, so what do we think our boy was up to if he wasn't in prison? I think that was the mailbag question.
Oh, well, they were asking for the conspiracy theories beyond just not in prison. What are some alternate Assange theories? And I haven't really seen anything on that because...
see, this is where you and I differ. You look at that and think that they wanted us to get to the facts. I heard that, and I thought that they wanted us to do a bit.
I can accept a bit, but
like he was like secretly on the same island as Elvis and Tupac, and they were chilling and hanging out.
Yeah.
And Andy was listening to Tupac gripe about the fact that fucking Drake went and tried to resurrect his ass using AI to like co-sign his shit. And he was just like, fucking, I almost went to that Juneteenth celebration myself. That's right, Mike. We didn't have to skip just the Assange thing. We skipped that one, too. And you don't see me circling back to it. Or did I?
You didn't get an email. You didn't get a question that's sneaking in. But they just don't have enough. They don't have enough run with Assange because he's a martyr. Whereas with Michael Flynn, they were actually able to make a small group of QAnon infidels who were just like Flynn bad. Whereas like right now, Assange is just universally good. Like they all love him. He's the greatest. So
Assange for VP.
Yes, Assange for vice president. Oh god. Oh god.
During the debate, the fucking the stone cold glass break happens. Assange walks out.
Yeah, he's got the fucking thumb drive that proves that Hillary killed Seth Rich. Oh, he's so great. Just all of it.
He's like, here's your fucking face card video. Oh shit.
Oh, I'm here for it. Oh, it'd be so great. But yeah, that's basically like that's the Cliff Notes version of what's going on in the Assangeverse and QAnon. They're just so happy there. And the greatest thing was Randy Quaid was like, don't ever forget that Obama put Assange behind bars and blah, blah, blah. And then people were like, the American government indicted Assange under Trump, and Trump was the one who wouldn't pardon him. And now the Biden administration is the ones who have taken a plea deal to let him go. So don't let the facts get in the way of your narrative, Randy Quaid. Don't bother about
it.
I
won't.
Yeah, damn right you won't.
Damn it. They do always have that Uno reverse in their back pocket.
Yes.
Where they're just like, actually, I just don't listen to facts. So they just pull that out, and you're just like, oh, well, that does make it incredibly difficult to want to talk to you for any reason.
Yeah.
But that makes me the bad guy. Oh, you're supposed to reach across the aisle. Fuck that aisle and fuck everyone on the other side of it. You're with me or you're against me. Fuck them.
And that brings us to our final question, which is, as always, what are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to the rest of my lazy day off from work today. I'm going to order a pizza. I'm going to watch some amount of TV and play some amount of video games. I'm going to do no chores. And I'm just going to be me by myself in my air-conditioned room because it is hot outside.
What are you looking forward to, Haley?
I guess just gaming a little bit more, just the baby games because it's relaxing. But before that, I have a shit ton of work, so probably won't be playing any baby games till later tonight.
Well, at least you have your baby game treat later this night. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
I might go to the Willows tonight. I might get that plate of ribs that I've been pondering for a while. I don't know. I'll have to wait until it gets a little cooler, like around like 7 or 8 o'clock, because it is fucking sweltering around here now. We have officially hit murder summer, and it is.
Yeah. You know, you need to hold out to make sure that all the places that serve pancakes close. Otherwise, you'll just get distracted by you fucking pancakes again.
You know it will. Absolutely. Oh God. I mean, we're at 2:54 here. I got 6 minutes to make it to Reds before the menu rolls over. Oh man, I could have like fucking 3 of those mountainous pancakes, some kielbasa, some sausage patties. Oh, it'd be great.
Dude, the idea of eating 3 pancakes, I don't care what size they are. The idea of eating 3 pancakes, like, is just making me feel full just pondering it. I'm just thinking about eating 3 whole pancakes, and I'm already like, oh, I'm so bloated.
Yeah. And Elle knows this. Red's pancakes in particular, 3 of them is like literally eating like, I don't know, half a cow. They're very large.
Yeah, one of the times I went there, I tried to order 2 of them, and the waitress looked at me and she was just like, "Are you sure you want 2?" And I was like, "If you're looking at me at my size and asking if I'm sure I want 2 of your pancakes, then fucking no, I don't. 1 will be fine. I guess 1 single pancake, please." Like, I mean, again, like, I'm a pretty big guy, so if you looked at me and you're just like, "I don't know if this guy can handle 2 of this thing he wants," I'd just be like, "Jesus fucking Christ."
Oh yeah, I don't know what when I order 3, they're just like, "You're out of your mind." I'm like, I know I ain't finishing them. Whatever, just leave me alone. let a boy dream.
Look, part of the thrill is wasting half of it. Says Mike Caligula Reigns.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to the show. It's time for us to fuck out of here using the power of our minds, psychokinesis, to Away from HellwQrld for the week. Thank you for supporting the show. If you'd like to support us for free, but even harder, you can give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast from. If you have money and you want to donate it to the cause, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/pokerpolitics. If you donate $5 or more per month, you get access to all of our bonus content, past, present, and future, including all the stuff we recorded back when Sarge was still on the squad, and all the newer stuff that Mike has been recording with Haley. So you get the full gamut of knuckleheads from HellwQrld. Once again, patreon.com/pokerpolitics. Thanks so much to all of the beautifuler babies who are already hanging out in the crib. If you have money and you don't want to give it to us, we understand. There are lots of good ways you can spend it to do good in the world, but one of the ones that we've always suggested is love146.org, an organization whose vision is the end of child trafficking and exploitation. Thanks as always to DJ Minimal Effort for use of our original theme song that he provided that was accidentally remixed by Mike Raines himself into what you heard at the top of the show. Thanks to Frosty, who you can find on Blue Sky at FrostyVO for all of our voiceover work when we need it, including the voice of Q and all of our bumps and all that stuff. When you hear it, that's our buddy Frosty. Thank you, Frosty. You can find the show on Twitter at HellwQrld with a Q instead of an O. You can find myself having crawled back with my tail tucked firmly between my legs to where the action is on Twitter at HellwQrldFatty, spelled HellwQrld the same way. Yes, I know I had a previous account. I just don't know how to retrieve access to it. So get fucked me, new account, HellwQrldFatty. You can find Haley on various social media, doing actual work on social media, unlike me, who does nothing, at Arizona Right Watch, or AZRW. And Mike Raines is, of course, on various social media at PokerPolitics. So, for another successful episode of the Adventures in HellwQrld podcast, I have been one of your hosts, the Mysterious L, joined as always by Haley, a.k.a. Arizona Right Watch, and Mike Raines, once again, a.k.a. Poker and Politics. Hot tour! Spit on that thing!